Hello children, welcome back to our session 2 of Science Chapter 8 Body Movements. In the first session, we have learned about body movements and types of joints. I hope you have revised the topics. Now, in this session, we will learn about the human skeleton and parts of it. So, let's study about it. Class 6 Science Chapter 8 Body Movements Session 2. Students, before we start, I have a question in my mind. What gives the different parts of the body their different shapes? Students, if we want to make a doll, a framework is prepared to give the doll shape before making its outer structure. Isn't it? Similarly, all the bones in our body also form a framework to give a shape to our body. Students, you often feel something hard when you touch your arm, your leg, and even your head, right? Well, this hard substance is a bone. A human body is made of a number of bones. Together, these bones form a framework that gives shape to our body. This framework is the skeleton. A body without a skeleton will appear like a jelly that has no shape of its own. Not only does the skeleton give shape and support, it also helps in the movement of various parts of the body. Now, a question arises. How do we know that this is the shape of a human skeleton? We can have some idea about the shape and number of bones in some parts of our body by feeling them. One way we could know this shape better would be to look at X-ray images of the human body. Sometimes when we are hurt or have an accident, doctors use these X-ray images to find out about any possible injuries that might have happened to the bones. The X-rays show the shapes of the bones in our bodies. Students, we know our wrist is flexible. That means we can rotate it. It is made up of several small bones. These small bones are called carpals. They are the 8 small bones that make up the wrist and connect the hand to the forearm. Now, we know the importance of skeleton. Let us look at some parts of the skeleton. They are rib cage, backbone, shoulder bones, pelvic bones, and skull. Let us first learn about the rib cage. The rib cage is a bony structure present in the chest area. You can easily feel it each time you keep your hand on your chest. The ribs are short, flat, curved bones. There are 12 pairs of ribs present in a human being. The ribs are joined to the backbone on the back and the breastbone in the front. The rib cage protects many important internal organs such as heart and lungs. The next part is the backbone. It is also known as the spine. The spine helps you to bend down to pick up things or to tie your shoelaces. It runs from the back of the skull to the lower back of the body. The spine is made of 33 small bones called vertebrae. These small bones are joined to each other. The rib cage is joined to these bones. Let's see the next part of the skeleton, which is shoulder bones. The shoulder bones are formed by the collarbone and the shoulder blade. It connects the upper part of the chest and bones of the arm. Another important part of the skeleton is the pelvic bones. The bones which enclose the body part below the stomach are called pelvic bones. This is the part you sit on. Now let's learn about the most important part of the skeleton, the skull. The skull is made of bones of the head and the face. All the bones of the skull are immovable except the lower jaw. There are holes for eyes and nose. The function of the skull is to protect the brain, which is an important organ of the body. We discussed many bones and the joints of our skeleton. There are some additional parts of the skeleton that are not as hard as bones and which can be bent. These are called cartilage. Cartilage is also found in the joints of the body. Students, now feel your ear. Do you find any hard bony parts that can be bent? There do not seem to be any bones here, isn't it? So, do you notice anything different between the earlobe and the portion above it? Yes, you do feel something in the upper parts of the ear that is not as soft as the earlobe, but not as hard as a bone. This is cartilage. We have learned about the bones in our body and about joints that help us move in different ways. What makes the bones move the way they do? Let us find out by an activity. Make a fist with one hand, bend your arm at the elbow, and touch your shoulder with the thumb. Do you see any change in your upper arm? Now touch it with other hand. Do you observe a swollen region in this upper arm? The swollen region is due to the muscle. The muscle bulges out due to contraction. When contracted, the muscle becomes shorter, stiffer, and thicker. It pulls the bone. Muscles work in pairs. When one of them contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction. The other muscle of the pair relaxes. To move the bone in the opposite direction, the relaxed muscle contracts to pull the bone towards its original position, while the first relaxes. A muscle can only pull. It cannot push. Thus, two muscles have to work together to move a bone. At the end of the session, let's recap. The skeleton is a framework of bones that gives shape and support to the body. Rib cage, backbone, shoulder bones, pelvic bones and skull are some parts of the skeleton. Rib cage is the bony structure present in the chest area. The ribs protect the internal organs like heart and lungs. Backbone runs from the back of the skull to the lower back and helps in making the body flexible. The shoulder bones are formed by the collarbone and the shoulder blade. The bones which enclose the body part below the stomach are called pelvic bones. The skull is made of bones of the head and the face. The skull protects the brain from any damage. Cartilage is an additional part of the skeleton that is not as hard as bones and which can be bent. Contraction and relaxation of muscles help in movement. A muscle can only pull, it cannot push. Students, I request you to do this homework which will be helpful to you. Your homework is draw neat diagrams of rib cage and backbone. Write definitions of the terms which we have discussed in this video. Go through the topics discussed in this video and read the chapter from the textbook. Here are the diagrams of rib cage and backbone. Take the help of the diagrams to draw in your notebook. Now let's look at some interesting facts about human body. The human skeleton is composed of around 305 bones at birth. It decreases to 206 bones by adulthood after some bones combine together. The smallest bone in the body is in ears. Thigh bone is the largest bone in human body. Teeth are considered as part of the skeletal system but are not counted as bones. Human body contains more than 600 muscles. The hardest working muscle in human body is the heart. So students, I hope you understood about the human skeleton and parts of it. In the next video, we will study about the movement of some animals. Till then, bye, take care. Thank you.